Hello everyone, so if you're watching this video, you most probably want to know how to study abroad in South Korea. So I'm going to tell you guys how I was able to study in Seoul, South Korea 3 times and the process that I went through going through that. You'll find this video helpful if you're a high school senior going into college or you're already currently in college. If you're out of high school but not in college, there is a way for you to go abroad to South Korea, but we'll cover that a little later. So there are 2 ways that I was able to study abroad in South Korea. The first way was paying out of pocket and applying on my own to a study abroad program. And the second one that I did was applying directly through my university because they were partnered with a Korean university. So definitely check if your university is partnered with any Korean schools, because most likely they'll be able to help you with that process and you can save yourself a lot of money because you won't have to pay for tuition. First, we're going to talk about my experience applying through Yonsei University for the short-term programs that I did, which were YISS and Ewha, which is the summer program and the winter program. I'm going to be mostly explaining the process on applying for the summer program, but the applications for the summer program and the winter program are the same exact thing, so just different seasons, obviously. So just try to follow through with that. So the very first program that I did in South Korea was in 2021, and that was the YISS program, which stands for the Yonsei International Summer School Program. And basically you get to study abroad for 4 to 6 weeks. You can choose how long you want to stay. And basically if you choose the 4-week courses, they're a little bit more fast-paced, and the 6 weeks courses are fast-paced still, but not as fast-paced as the 4-week classes. So just keep that in mind. If you do choose the 4 weeks option, you'll probably be in Korea from June to July, and if you do the 6 weeks, you'll be in Korea from June to the beginning of August. If I believe that's correct. From my experience when I went, that's how it was, but the dates can always change every single year, since I did do this program in 2021, but I do know that the Yonsei International Summer School Program applications usually open around January at the beginning of each year, because right now I'm not sure if the applications are done or still ongoing for the Ewha program, which is the winter abroad at Yonsei program. I'm not sure, but you can check that out, or I'll put it somewhere around here for you guys. Yonsei's summer program offers a lot of different courses, whether it's for your major or just for fun. When I went, I took courses just for fun, but you can definitely take courses for your major and get those credits transferred to your university. Usually with the courses, they let you take a minimum of 2 courses and the max is 3, but when I went, because of COVID, the minimum we could take was 1 course. If I'm not mistaken, that's still a thing where you can take just 1 course, but if it's not, then I'll correct myself somewhere on this screen. But yeah. Their program also offers field trips. When you apply for the program, it'll show like the different field trip options. When I went, I didn't apply for any field trips because they didn't fit in my cost, because you do have to pay for those separately aside from the tuition. So just keep that in mind, but usually their trips are pretty cool, so I would definitely recommend doing them if you have the chance to. So now I'm going to get into the requirements that you're going to need to be able to get accepted into the YISS program and also the Ewha program. The requirements are the same for the both. The application processes are the same for the both. So, you know, just for the sake of this video, I'm just doing the summer. So one of the main requirements is that you do need to be enrolled in college. That is one of the most important things since this is a university. So if you're a high school senior, you need to have already been accepted into college already. You don't have to be in college like at that point, but you do need to have your acceptance letter, because that is very important for this process. The big question is what their GPA requirement is, which is a 2.0 out of a 4.0 average, which I think is very generous, because to apply to Yonsei in general, like just study abroad programs aside, you need to have a pretty good GPA to go there because it is a Sky University. So having a 2.0 minimum is pretty generous from them. So just saying, that's all you need. They're very strict about that. So if you have like a 1.9, they will deny you. Like you need to have a 2.0 or above. So if you're already enrolled in college, all you need is your official transcript. It needs to be the official, not the unofficial one, and it needs to be dated at least from now or from 3 months to now. So it can't be any older than 3 months when it was issued to you. So definitely speak with your school upon getting those kind of documents. If you're a high school senior and you're accepted into college already, you just need your proof of acceptance, and that's pretty much all you need. So yeah. So now let's get into the actual application process through their website. Right now, like I said, they're doing the YISS program, but the YISS program applications will probably open sometime in early January. Just keep an eye on their social medias, especially Instagram, because they're pretty active there. They will update when the applications will start. The good thing about Yonsei is that they list all of the steps for you already. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go on the YISS website or the YISS website. It depends on if you want to do summer or winter. And you're going to make an account because you're going to need an account to apply. So make your account, and then you're going to submit the documents that I just said. All you need is your acceptance letter or your official transcript, your GPA, all your basic information about yourself, your major, and all that kind of stuff. And that's all you need to apply. That's all you need to apply. There are those simple things. You just need that one document. That's it. Once you do submit your application, you are going to have to pay for an application fee, which is usually 100,000 won, which in USD that would be around 90 something dollars. If your school is partnered with Yonsei, you can most probably get that fee waived. Other than that, you do need to pay the fee for your application to be considered. If you do not pay the application fee, but you do submit your application, they are not going to tell you whether you're accepted or not until you pay that fee. You have to pay that application fee. So if there's no other way to get it waived, you're going to have to figure something out because they're not going to waive it for you. So yeah. And I recommend having the money for the application as soon as you apply, because that will benefit you a lot, because that will put you at the top of the list. If you pay and submit faster, you will get a response faster. Once you finish your application and you pay the application fee, you should hear back from them like in the next week or two, or maybe even in the few days, and they'll basically tell you that they're reviewing your application, and they'll let you know of any updates. And usually between that 1 or 2 week range, you'll get another email saying whether you were admitted. I'm not sure if they send emails if you were not admitted. I'd assume not, but I'm not sure about that. So yeah, but once you get that admission email, you are not done yet. That does not mean that you're officially in the program yet. Just for some reference, I applied in mid-January when the applications opened in early January, and I got a response 4 days later that I was admitted into the program. So it really depends on whenever you submit your applications and how fast you pay. Once you are admitted into the program, you have to go to the next step to actually get enrolled into the program, which means you have to pay the tuition fee. The tuition fee deadline dates are usually different every single time, but you're gonna have to pay the tuition to actually be enrolled in the program. So just keep that in mind. They do give you a lot of time to pay for the tuition, but just try to get it in before the deadline so that you can be enrolled into the program. So in my case, I paid for my tuition 2 days after I received my admission letter, and then around like 4 days later, I want to say, I got another email saying that I was officially enrolled into the program. So that also, it just takes time depending on how many students are enrolled into the program. But yeah, once that's over, you can just sit back and relax and just wait for the housing and course selection applications to open, because those things are also important for your actual study abroad experience. Also, I'd like to note out that if you're paying for the tuition, for most cases, for both the summer program and the winter program, they usually have these early bird benefits, which I heavily recommend trying to pay your tuition between that early bird benefit timeline, because you get a discount, usually $100 to $200 to $300 off, depending on how many courses you're going to take. So I definitely recommend that, because if you don't pay within the early bird benefit timeline, you do have to pay the base price, which is usually a little bit more pricey. So definitely take up on that early bird offer. If you have done YISS in the past or WAY in the past, you can also get a returning student discount, which I was able to get when I went to the winter program. But yeah, so I'm not sure about the exact prices for currently for the YISS and WAY program, but I'll put them right here for you guys somewhere on the screen, because I paid a different price when I went because it was during COVID and it was a lot cheaper than it is now. Just saying. So these are the prices, so just keep that in mind. Now for the housing. For the housing, Yonsei does do dorms. You can either live in SK Global House or International House. If I'm not mistaken, International House is for female students only, but SK Global House is co-ed. For both of my experiences, I stayed at SK Global House. I personally prefer SK Global House, and also I prefer to be in a single dorm, even though it's a little bit more pricey. The dorms are pretty small, to be honest, so I'd rather be in a single. I don't really do well with roommates, so that's just a preference. They do offer off-campus housing, but I'm not sure how to go about that. But this is the off-campus housing option that they have. I don't know the prices, but it looks like a nice place, so I'm assuming it's pretty pricey. But you can, if you can't like do like dorm life, you can definitely do like an Airbnb or something like that. But that is something that I didn't do, so you're gonna have to go on that process on your own. But yeah, for the most part, getting housing at Yonsei was not too horrible because it is like a short-term program. Most of the students that apply for dormitory do get placed in a dorm, but I cannot say the same if you're doing a semester or an academic year, because I've heard the dorm application process for those two programs are pretty harsh. So yeah, so applications for housing usually open 3 to 4 months before the program begins. You definitely want to be on top of that day. Whenever that day is, it's going to be in KST time. Everything is going to be in KST time. So if you don't live in KST time, you need to make sure that you're on top of it, because those applications are not going to open in your time. They're going to open like at night. So make sure you get those applications in ASAP so that you can get the best dormitory placement that you would like. So I'm gonna put the prices for the dormitories somewhere on the screen, because again, the prices were different back then than they are now. The prices are a lot more expensive now than when I went, because they were very nice to give us cheaper options during the times of COVID. But those times have passed, so it's a lot more expensive now. Usually in most cases at the end of the programs, they would send out an email like, hey, if you were planning to stay a week longer after the program, we do offer housing for that, but you have to pay a little extra. Usually not too much though. Keep in mind of the additional costs that you'll need to save up for, which is like the flight to and from Korea, you know, any money that you need that you're gonna splurge, because you will splurge, I promise you. I did, even though I thought I wasn't. You will. So have your money set, especially for like textbooks and materials and stuff for your courses, because you will need those. There are some courses that do require textbooks, so yeah. Now we'll get into how I was able to apply for a fall semester at Ewha Women's University, and we're going to go through the application process with help from my university. I'm not sure about the application process without the help of the university, just because I was able to have a easier time since I had the help from my school. But if you don't have the help from your school, definitely look at Ewha Women's University website, their international exchange website, and they'll give you everything there in the case that my video is not able to provide all that information for you. Now, yes, Ewha Women's University is a women's university. That is true. But when it comes to the international exchange program, they do take in male students. So this program is open to female and male students. So if you're a male student, you can apply to this school. In terms of the eligibility, you need to have a 2.0, not 2.0, you need to have a 2.5 GPA out of a 4.0 GPA average. So this is a little bit more than from what Yonsei was asking for. And again, 2.0, 2.5 is a generous GPA range coming from Korea, especially. And again, they're very strict about that. If you have a 2.4, they will deny you. They will literally deny you. You need to have a 2.5 or above. So that's just the standard. You gotta have that for this program. For this semester program, I am not too sure if they take in like high school seniors that are already, in college. I'm not too sure about that. I don't know if they state that on their website. From when I looked, I didn't see anything about that, but I might have just, misread it or something. But at this stage of your application, you do need to have your official transcript ready. Just like for the Yonsei program, you have to have that official transcript already handy, because you will need that when you apply. Something to note is that if you're applying through university, the process is a little bit different, just because what's going to happen is that you're going to need to talk to your study abroad counselor at your school, at least just to be safe. Talk to them a year or half a year in advance before those applications open, because you want to make sure that you're at the top of your study abroad advisor's mind and Ewha's mind when you apply for this university. So when you're going through university for this process, what's going to happen is that when that application period starts to come by, at least a month before that application period opens, or 2 months before, your school is going to send out a nomination to Ewha Women's University, or whatever college that you're applying to in Korea. They're going to send a nomination thing, and basically this is for you to get nominated, for you to actually be able to apply when you start your applications, when the application date rolls by. So this is very important, because once that nomination date passes, you cannot apply for that school anymore through university until the next semester, the next academic year, whatever the case may be, on what time frame you're trying to apply for. So the nominations have to be received by that university before you submit your application. So you can't submit your application until that school gets your nomination that, hey, these are the students that I am picking out to be exchange students at your school. So for the actual application, once you get nominated by a university to Ewha or whatever school you're applying to, you're gonna start the application process when it opens. So in this case, if you're applying through university, you do not have to worry about the admission fees. Those should already be waived for you, since you were nominated by a university. When you put in all your details, which your study abroad counselor will usually give you that information and be like, hey, you can sign in now and you can start the application process. When you go in, that application fee should be waived already. Like from the get-go, you don't have to pay for anything. You just put all your information and you submit it and you're done. You just wait. So it should just be like that. If it's not, the application fee is 100,000 won, which is around $98 USD, just like Yonsei. So you will have to pay that if your application fee is not waived. Now, just like Yonsei, they do have dorm housing available. The funny thing is that Yonsei and Ewha are actually very close to each other, and their dormitories are like literally right across the street from each other. From my experience, like SK Global House, you just walk straight, you turn, you cross the street, you turn another street, you turn another street, and bam, the Ewha dorms are right there. Like, it's very close by, surprisingly. So I already knew the area, but the Ewha does have a lot more dorm options for their students for the exchange program than Yonsei does. From my experience, just, you know, they're two different programs, but just from my experience, I did like the housing at Ewha a lot more. The space that I had, the stuff that they provided was just a lot more better. So that's just my opinion on that. But the housing prices I will put here. These are just the estimated. I'm not sure how much it would cost with other fees, but this is it. But yeah. Now, you can live in a single or double. So obviously if you have a double, you will be with a roommate, but if you live in a single, you'll be by yourself. In my experience, when I went, I studied abroad for a fall semester at Ewha in fall of 2021. Because of COVID, no one was able to roommate with people from what I was aware of. So I was placed in a double room, but I had that double room all to myself, which was literally the best thing ever. I was stoked. I was so happy about that. I had the best experience. That dormitory experience was literally A1. And the shower, yes, great. So in terms of the application process, for the fall semester, usually the application is open from April to May, and if you're doing the spring term, it should be October to November, if I'm not mistaken. I'm trying to like make sure I'm telling you guys the right stuff, but make sure you're on top of the application dates, because once they're closed and they will not open for you. So when you do go through the application process, you're going to submit all of your personal information and all that kind of stuff. Make sure you're putting everything right, your school, your study abroad counselor's information, everything, literally everything. Something different for this was that for the Ewha program, there's a section where you have to write in your application basically like, why do you want to study abroad there, or what are your plans, like your study plan at Ewha, like you have to write that. Like I wrote like a paragraph or something like that, but you do have to write something like that. So, and they do look at it, and that does help in terms of, you know, your application. So make sure you're filling it out pretty well. Don't use a, you know, AI system, because they will know, so don't do it. So then just basically keep on checking your Ewha account every single, like once a week, and eventually if you do get accepted, they'll send you a letter through your Ewha email section that you were admitted. Now I do know that for Ewha, they will let you know if you did not get accepted. So I'm not sure about Yonsei, but Ewha will say, hey, unfortunately you're not accepted. Like they will send you that literally. So yeah, once you have all that information, you should go through with the visa steps. You need a D2 visa to be able to study abroad for a semester or more in South Korea. And the process that I went through, I'll try to explain it. I'm not sure if I'm going to explain it correctly, but it's just what I went through. Mind you that all of the document submitting processes my university helped me with, so it wasn't just all by myself. So for your application process, just in general, you are going to need a picture of yourself. I think you need that for Yonsei too. It's for your ID. You need a photo for your ID, so try to submit a clear photo, like with a white background, you know, no distractions in it whatsoever. You will need to submit a passport copy, so make sure it's very clear. You're gonna need that. They need to check, you know, that you're eligible. You're gonna need your official transcript, like I said before, and you're also gonna need to fill out a student agreement form, which usually the school, like your school, if you're applying through your school directly, should send you that. Like your study abroad counselor should be like, hey, you need to fill this out, make sure that you submit this, you know. That's what my study abroad counselor did, so she gave us the form herself and we submitted it with all of our other documents. So once you get admitted, Ewha will reach out to you, or your study abroad counselor will reach out to you in my case, to fill out your flight information, your insurance information, all that kind of stuff, your house situation. Like you need to have all that stuff set, because the school needs to know that you will be going to their school. They need to be sure that you will actually show up. So if you don't provide that information, they can cancel your enrollment. They will do it. Now, when you're studying abroad at Ewha Women's University, you need to take a minimum of 9 credits. The maximum is like 18 or 16. I'm not sure. I think I took about 12 if I'm not mistaken, but yeah, I'm not exactly sure, but I think I took around 12 something credits. And all the courses that I took were for my major. I'm an international studies major. They do have courses that you can use a credit transfer for through university to get those. In terms of other majors, I'm not exactly sure. You'll have to look at their course list. But yeah, now when it comes to the actual application for the visa, which is what you will go through when you get accepted, I'll try to give you all that I know of, because again, I got a lot of help from my university, so I didn't have to stress out way too much. But I can imagine this process is very stressful for those who don't have the help of a university and you're just applying directly by yourself. So the first thing is you're going to have to fill out the visa application form, which is through the website Hi Korea. Just go through filling all that stuff because it's your personal information. You're going to need your passport. You're going to need like your copy of your passport. You're going to, well, not copy. Well, yeah, a copy. Copy. Sorry. I'm like, my brain is jumbled. You're going to need a colored picture of yourself as well. You're going to need a business registration certificate directly from your school or Ewha Women's University, like the Korean school that you're applying through. You need their business registration. Again, my study abroad counselor or advisor, whatever you want to call it, she provided it to me. She got Ewha to give her that information, but if anything, Ewha should give that to you. But if they don't, talk to your study abroad counselor. You're going to need your certificate of admission and your letter of admission. Those are 2 different things. You need those. You're going to need documents to prove your financial stability to be able to study abroad for long-term in Korea. So this can be like your bank statement or your parents' bank statement, and you need to have proof of your family's relations if you're are going to use their bank statements and stuff. So yeah, again, I got a lot of help from my university. I know I have to keep repeating myself, but I didn't have to go through much of a stressful process for this. So yeah, you do have to pay a fee to apply for the visa, so just be aware of that. And you're also going to need a medical statement or certificate or something like that, which is basically like a tuberculosis test. Yeah, I took that for Ewha. I believe you submitted, or I also know that I had to submit that as well for the dormitory too. So I'm not exactly sure if that's on the application for the visa, but if you do, then make sure you have 2 different copies or something so that you can have it for the dorm and the visa, because I know that the dormitory also asked me for a tuberculosis test, and Yonsei did that too for the dorms. You do need that. I don't think they say it on the website, but you do need it. Okay, I just checked, and you don't need a tuberculosis test statement thing if you're from the US, but again, you still have to do it because you need it for the dormitory. Like, you have to submit that when you enter in the dorms. That's just like the standard thing they have there. So yeah. Now is the process of getting your ARC, which is your alien registration card, or just your registration card. I got help from Ewha for this. Actually, the school should help you. If they don't, then I'm not too sure about that. But when I went, the international office at Ewha basically said, hey, submit all these documents to us, and we're gonna go to the immigration office ourselves and submit all this information for you guys. And basically they would have people from the immigration office come to the school, and they would take our fingerprints and all that extra stuff that you would normally get done over there. So I actually never experienced going to the immigration office in Korea because Ewha did all of that for us. So yeah, but the only downside to that is that we got our alien registration cards a lot later than the people that just went straight to the immigration office. So definitely, you want it like ASAP, go to the registration office yourself. So for the actual requirements for the ARC, you are going to need a photo of yourself, and their photo requirements are very different than like the US or whatever photo you use to apply for your ID and your what is it called, your visa. You're gonna need a different photo, so I recommend taking a photo in Korea at like a photo spot where somebody can take pictures for you, and they will provide you all of the pictures and everything. But the only thing is that they edit the heck out of your photo. Like, they made me look unrecognizable. Like, I do not look like the photo, but hey, the immigration office took it, so I was like, okay. But yeah, obviously you're gonna need your application form. You're also gonna need your proof of studentship, which Ewha should provide to you, or whatever school you're applying through should apply that. They should give that to you. Oh, and then there's also the fee for the ARC as well, so make sure you pay that. I think it's like 30,000 won, which is like 20 something USD, not exactly sure, but not too bad, not too expensive. But yeah, that is application processes for both Yonsei and Ewha. Hopefully this was very clear to you guys. Now, if you're not in college, but you're out of high school and you want to go to Korea for a study, your best bet is to go there for a language study, which is basically learning Korean. You can definitely go abroad with just a high school diploma and learn Korean for long term, like 6 months to a year, or whatever the time frame is, and that varies per different schools. A lot of schools offer those language programs and scholarships and all that kind of stuff, so definitely look into that. I definitely want to do one of those, but just not right now. But yeah, like I said before, if you are like, you know, under the age of 18 and you have not graduated, you know, high school yet, I'm not too sure on how you can study abroad in Korea unless you just travel there for a trip by yourself, or if there's like a, you know, a study trip or something that your school's providing that could do that for you. I'm not too sure about that, so I can't answer questions about that, but hopefully this video was helpful to you guys. Again, if you have any questions about anything that I said in this video, because I know this is probably really lengthy, please ask me in the comments. I will answer you at like immediately as possible. So thank you guys for watching, and if you guys have any recommendations for any future content, let me know. I would be more than happy to do those things for you guys. See you guys in the next video.